everybody. We'll wait till everybody can log on. While we're waiting, I'm going to go plug my phone in. We are going to talk today about back orders. So excited to talk to you guys about this. Hey, all right, so how Zoom works, for those of you who have not done a Zoom before, you are all muted. Let's keep yourself that way so we have a really good, crisp, clean recording. And because when you talk, your face pops up real big. So right now it'll be my face because I'll be talking. And then it's going to, oh, that's Stampin' Up! Calling me back, which is very, I should actually answer it so you guys can see in action how to handle a back order, but I'll talk to her later. Because we have to really work with right now are, please answer. I'm not going to answer right now. I've got to calm down a little bit. I got to practice what I'm going to preach to you guys today. So I wanted to talk to you guys about back orders because it is a real reality. It's really hurting some of our businesses. I shouldn't say hurting. It is impacting a lot of our businesses now. It has in the past. It has starting about 3 years ago, and I fully believe it is going to impact our future greatly. So I really want to give you some tools to be able to handle back orders, some ideas, some suggestions, and everything that goes along with that, because we have to learn how to deal with this. So let's start. First of all, I'll just tell you a story right now, like what I'm dealing with. You know, I have a class for 76 people that I planned a month ago. Like sometimes I plan ahead like a lot of you. And I knew that a product was currently on back order or on low inventory. So I had to make a risky choice. Do I include it or don't I include it? And I chose to include it because I looked at the inventory status report and it was going to come off a back order on February 25th. So great, things don't need to ship out until the week after, it'll be fine. So I scheduled the class, designed the class, and all of that. Literally today, I checked the status reports just to see if anything else was added to there because I try to check it daily. And lo and behold, the date changed to April 8th. And so that means now I won't get those things until April 8th, which is, you know, way, way, way too late for my class. So these are things literally that happened to me. Just so I want you to know I have real perspective on this. Literally 3 weeks ago, I had a class that I scheduled using the Made to Bloom Memories and More kit. And again, I knew it was on back order or was on low inventory. Do I risk scheduling the class? My class was for a month and a half away. The estimated date of delivery was like early January, mid-January, sure, because this isn't until the middle of February. Same thing happened. It changed the date. They actually arrived the day of my class, but it was too late because I was already at my class. And that was 76 of them. So, you know, a few days beforehand, I had to completely redesign a class to offer my 76 people who were showing up, or 72 or something like that. So I've had online classes worked around it, live classes. I sell to customers just like you guys that are real ticked off about the butterfly punch not being available and disappointed. So this is something that we are all going through. And what I really want to share with you today is some things that are really helping me in my business, and I can hopefully help all of you and give you some ways to deal with all of these issues. So the first thing is your attitude makes the biggest difference. Your attitude on back orders is absolutely so important to bring to your customers and to your fellow demonstrators, to your team, and to you personally. So, so as an example, when I ran that last class for 76 people, I got up in front of everybody and I said, the class I had, that I advertised for you and that I had originally designed for you is not here. I designed another really super cute one. It was very similar, but it's not exactly the same. And the thing is, it is what it is. It's not a big deal. I redesigned you another super cute class and you're getting same amount of product included. And what I did do was I shared with them my original creations as well. So I said, actually, for all of you, this is a great blessing. You guys get 2 classes. I shared with them the original creation, so if they wanted to recreate it, they could. But they also had another class that they could go home with. And so I told them right up front, back orders are what they are. Back orders are a reality in most online and catalog companies. And it just so happens Stampin' Up! Is an online company and it is a catalog company. So things do go on back order and will not be available. We actually have very, very few things that are on back order and very few things that are on non-orderable status. I guess because I just, personality-wise, I am an online shopper. I do not enjoy going shopping live. I honestly, to goodness, have never bought a crafting item in a craft store. I can't stand to shop for clothes in stores. I just don't like to be in stores. I prefer online shopping. And so when I see something that I want or something that I need, I will go and look for it online. Do you guys know how often the things I want are not available? It doesn't make me upset or angry as a customer. I'm like, oh, darn it, I missed that. I'll have to come back and get it later when they have my size in stock, or I'll go, or I will look for something else. If this black shirt's not available, I'll look for a different black shirt that they have available. So it's not the end of the world when something is not available online. It's what we become accustomed to when we're used to online shopping. So this is a trend that is absolutely going to be, I don't think this is going anywhere. Stampin' Up! Is not going to, they're working on it, but they can't control how we run our businesses to where things are going to, they're going to run out. So this is the issue that, and actually, if you heard Sarah's talk, their back orders are way down from what they used to be just a year ago or 2 years ago. So they are getting a lot better, but it's still going to be a reality that we are going to be dealing with back orders, I believe, for as long as you're a demonstrator. This is our future. Now, what's going to happen is we're going to start to adapt to it, and our customers are going to start to adapt to it. So that's what I put on here, is that we have to learn to start adapting to our reality. And coming up with option A's, option B's, backup plans, and how we're going to handle situations that we're willing to take a risk on. So I'm going to talk to you about that too. Some things you can do are not risky, and then some things we do are risky. And so I will talk about that a little bit too, because when I did both of these things, I knew I was taking a risk. So the fact that they're not here isn't something where it's going to, it might be frustrating, but it's not going to derail me because I have a backup plan, because I knew I was taking a risk when I chose both of these, things. So, okay, Dawn's asking me, maybe a silly question, but when you ordered the amount of stuff, Rhonda, will you then try to use all those memories and more card kits? Or are they working with you? They're working with me. They're going to take them back. Because I ordered something in place of them. I ordered the Happiness Blooms paper, which was actually $1 more expensive. So they are working with me. I think Stampin' Up! Will try to make it right if they can. They also paid to expedite it to me as well. So this is our future. This is what I want to understand, that you can't sit back and think Stampin' Up's going to change or this is going to change. I don't believe it's going to at all. And I think over the course of the last 3 years, we keep thinking, oh, next catalog's going to get better, or next catalog's going to get better. And they haven't changed yet. There's always certain products that are really hot items and they seem to go on back order. Even Stampin' Up! Has ordered more of things, and they still go on back order. So we have to learn to adapt. Not just our actions, but more importantly is our attitude. I'm sure many of you see a lot of, negative flare-ups online. I really try, I really do avoid them actually, but even with avoiding them, I still catch a few. And all I see are really unhappy and frustrated demonstrators, and that's not helping anybody. So what we want to do, and what I care about, and I care about you, I care about my team, I care about my customers, that we're going to try as hard as we can to make this a positive thing in our business. And what can we do to adapt moving forward when we know this is going to be our future. So I've got a whole list of things here, like 10 things. So first I want to just have you understand mentally, our attitude needs to make the biggest difference. So when I am talking to my customers about product, I do say things will go on back order. Really popular items will sell out. So get them while you can. And I see that actually as a huge benefit, that our products are so awesome and our company is so strong with such an awesome sales force that things will and do sell out. So it is actually, I believe, a huge selling tool that we have to encourage spending. Our customers used to be able to plan out their orders for 5 months because they're club orders and they're going to do 25 each month. So I'm going to get this month, and this month, and this month. Not anymore. Those were a long time ago. We're not doing that anymore. So that is where we have to change the thought process of our customers. That's not how it works. You get what you want if you really want it, because it might not be available. Now, if you're okay with taking a chance that it's not going to be available moving forward, then that's okay. But as long as we're setting the expectations that you cannot guarantee that something, if it's available today, it might not be available 2 months from now. It might not be available 2 weeks from now. Everything that's going on now, a lot of things besides the organdy ribbon or some of the other things that are selling out, like the foil paper. But celebration is always while a supplies last basis. So that is one where you have to tell them that right from the very beginning. So what it boils down to is your attitude, your communication, and how you handle the frustration of it, because it is frustrating. I'm not a Pollyanna. Trust me. The few times that I've been put in this hard position, it has been a difficult position, but we have worked through it in a way where it's positive for my customers and for my team and for anybody who's attending the classes or partaking of what I'm doing. So number one that I had down here is flexibility. Your designing needs to be a little bit flexible. So typically, stamp sets do not go on back order. Occasionally a bundle will, but an actual stamp set, and if it does go on back order, it's for a very, very short back order. So you can feel pretty rest assured that as long as your cards are built around a stamp set, that you are pretty safe. You need to be flexible with what you are designing when you realize that you're picking something that might go on back order, which is pretty much anything brand new out of a new catalog. So like an occasions catalog, holiday catalog, those catalogs we have seen and learned from experience that some of those really hot bundles, like Gingham Gala bundle, the cake bundle, now the Blooms bundle, it seems like anything with a punch really seems to go on back order very, very quickly. So this is something where I might not include a bundle because of the fact it might go on back order. Now I'll still go forward with the class, but it is something where I might be including other products that they can get, and then they can still order the bundle, and I'll have it keyed and shipped right to them. So when it comes off a back order, it just ships right to them. So what I want you to understand is flexibility. So I'll give you a perfect example because it's sitting right in front of me. So I have a class designed with a petal ribbon. It's beautiful. They're awesome. The ribbon is gorgeous, right? I can't get it till April 8th. My class needs to ship out next week. So flexibility is I take off that ribbon and I'm going to put a different ribbon on there that's just as beautiful. It is what it is. Now I will alert all of my customers, but here's the key thing. When I advertise for my classes, I tell them it includes a bolt of ribbon. I don't tell them which ribbon it's going to include. So they're now, if someone's extremely unhappy, which I've never had that happen, because I'm now changing it to the white flax ribbon, which I'm excited about because that was on back order and it's off of back order now. So I can include that instead. And you see flexibility. So when the last class that I did, which was the Memories and More, I could not get those in time for my class. Instead, I designed one with the Happiness Blooms paper and was able to still make and I used a stamp set. So it was still a very beautiful and I think cute class, but I had to be flexible. Now, when this comes into, so when you are taking a risk of using new product and cute bundles, you have to know, or anything that shows on low inventory, if you're choosing to still use that, then you know you're taking a risk. And then you need to be able to be willing to be flexible. So this is obviously what I'm talking about now are classes, product-based classes. When you're doing a workshop or a private class or a card class that does not include product, back orders really are not that bad of an issue for you. You just use things that are on back order. Or as a matter of fact, I'm still using that butterfly punch even now at my classes. And I'm just communicating, this is on back order. You can't even order it yet. But I know that as soon as April 1st hits, or as soon as it's available, they say April 1st, but it could be later, whenever it's available, that they're gonna want it. So your card classes, your classes that are free with a purchase are really not an issue when it comes to back orders, because you're going to communicate when they order something that it is on back order, so that way they have those expectations. And I'll get there in a minute. So number one is flexibility. You have to be willing to know when you've adapted your attitude, to know that you might have to redesign. If you're doing a product-based class, you might have to be able to redesign on a last-minute whim. Sometimes the paper's not available that you promised to include and you designed around. So you might have to actually redesign. Like those, I just got to cut ribbon out and put new ribbon in. I literally had to redesign from scratch cards because the paper wasn't available. I did the exact same card layouts as I did before, but I just changed colors. So, and I've had to have things overnighted because of the rush that the company has put me into, and they have always paid for that expedited shipping to get things to me quicker. Number two is to recreate the projects that you've already designed. First of all, some people get so frustrated when they've designed a class and then things go on back order and they can't use it. It's okay, that class is not wasted. You can run that class in April when the things do become available. So it's not a wasted design. You're actually working ahead of yourself, which is really kind of cool. So when you communicate with your customers that they were really wanting to come to that class, you can let them know that this class is being pushed to April. So instead we're doing the exact same structure, but we're using different product. So your customers will not care. They will, and if they do, they can switch their registration to the April one, or the date that you pick when the stuff will be back into stock. So it's something where this is not a wasted event. You might just have to push it to the next month and instead do something different in its place. And then that one you can still hold there. So Debbie's asked, would you try to recreate similar to a kit class if kits are backordered or non-orderable? Yes, that's exactly what I did, Debbie. Well, two things when it comes to kit classes. So I did want to let you guys ask all the questions you want to. So if I'm getting off tangent, it's because I'm answering their questions. So if a kit that I'm doing is on back order, this is personally what I've chosen to do, is that I've designed 4 alternative projects, so that the kit class can still go on as planned, but they will make the 4 cards that I designed using my stamp set and my stamps and my ink and everything. And then when the kits come in, they can still be delivered to them. Now, the only time that this is a little bit sketchy is with the one where they don't have the stamp set. It's the Incredible Like You, because they need to be able to use that stamp set to be able to finish the cards. So in that case, you may have meet up with a hostess later to be able to do some of the stamping on their pieces for them, or they can get back together again and actually make it. But I still have them go on as planned, but with alternative projects. And then the hostess can deliver the kits when they arrive, when they're off of back order. Ones like the Notes of Kindness or the Made to Bloom, those are all inclusive. So when they come in, they just have to, the directions are in there, everything they need is in there, they can make them on their own. But I still hold the class because they can still get together and stamp and have fun and make cute projects, but they're gonna make the 4 cards that I've designed. That's one option, and that's the option that I chose to do because my schedule is not flexible. I can't just reschedule to a different date. So, but your other option is to just reschedule that class for when the kits are back in stock. So those are, I think, your two options when it comes to a kit class. And a lot of times I give the option to the hostess, but really it's like, okay, this is the day of the class. The kits may or may not be here, but we will obviously have a class that night regardless. You may get an extra bonus of having some alternative cards that you'll be making that night. Yes, when you are a procrastinator, it does really, really help, Jeannie. This is the one issue. Back orders usually are an issue for me because I run mostly order-based classes. So people come to my class, they place an order, and then their class is free. It's the easiest class to get ready for. It's the easiest class to run, and you don't have to worry about back orders because they can order whatever they want to if it's on back order or not on back order. It's when you're doing it in product-included classes that it becomes an issue. Okay, so the number 4 is run classes that are free with a purchase. Right now, if back orders are a real issue for you and you're really struggling with it, then even if you're an online demonstrator like Wendy, instead of predetermining what they get in their order, instead say, okay, here's the class, you're gonna get all the paper cut, everything's gonna be ready for you. All you have to do is place your order of X amount of dollars, $30 or $40, and you get that. And then they can still order that bundle even though it's on back order because you don't have to worry about shipping it to them. They won't get it with their initial order, but then it'll get shipped to them as soon as it comes off of back order. So you don't have any extra shipping cost. For live events, running card classes, back orders are not a real big issue as long as you're communicating with your customers or just avoiding using anything that's on back order. But obviously, looking and inspecting everybody's order to see if they are getting something that is on back order or the non-orderable items that we're just communicating with our customers, and then they really don't ever seem to mind. So one of the best things you can do right now is to run classes that are free with a purchase, not necessarily including anything, because that's where we keep getting stuck. Because we can't provide what we say that we're going to do because it goes on back order. But if you run your card class or your clubs, or you run, maybe it is a product-based class where it is including things from the annual catalog, but then they can add on things that they purchase. So it's when they're putting in an order and you're not predetermining what they're going to get with that order. So those are really the most stress-free classes you can run right now when it comes to back orders. Number 5 is to stay informed. A customer, honestly, I don't think really is bothered by back orders like we are, as long as we're communicating with them and let them know. At every class I do, any order I get that's emailed to me, or I'm talking with a customer and they're ordering something that we can't get, I'm just, it's on back order, just so you know. It looks like it's not going to ship until mid-March or mid-April. Do you still want to go forward with that purchase? I was like, yeah, I don't need it right now anyway. I mean, crafters are just buying stuff to collect anyway. It's kind of fun. They'll get some of their order now and they'll get some of it later. Never have I had anyone really upset about it. If I did ever have to have somebody who needed the butterfly punch and stamp set right now to finish like a project, I'd let them come over and borrow mine. Obviously, that's for a face-to-face local business. I can't do that if it's someone who's long distance. But I have that as an option too if they need to absolutely use it beforehand. But as long as you stay informed, so every single day I check the inventory status report. Now I will tell you, it is not always correct. So we just do the best we can. And hope that Stampin' Up! Will give us the best information that they have available to themselves right now. I'm sure they are struggling just as much as we are all struggling, if not then some. So we need to just make sure that we stay informed and communicate. So every single order I get, if it's emailed to me or if it's at a class and it's written down, I'm going through it with a fine-tooth comb. And I am making sure that what they're ordering is available, or if it's not available, just letting them know, by the way, you're picking up the petal pink ribbon and it's not going to be available until early April. Are you okay with that? And usually they're like, literally they're always like, yeah, I don't care. That's fine. And things that are even on stops, I go through and find things that are on stop sale. Sorry, you can't order that right now. Let's get something else in place of it. But you save this order for April. And I will actually make a note to myself of the people who wanted to order the butterfly punch in the bundle and they can't, so that when it becomes available on April 1st, or again, whenever it really happens, then I can contact them again. It gives me the great ability to really show some customer service to them, to be able to follow up afterwards. I really feel like the state of our business creates an awesome urgency for our product. I really am choosing to see that this can be a benefit to us in quite a few ways, because Stampin' Up! Is the #1 leading industry of these stamp products. And we have to understand that our stuff is awesome and it is popular. And so when these things that are really trendy, that it creates the urgency to purchase them. And that's how shoppers are with anything, Apple products or Xbox games, or, and all these things that people collect. When they come available, there's lines waiting up for them. I imagine that with our stuff too, that, listen, this is going to be hot, so you better get it while you can. And that is the message that I am protruding to my customers at all my events. And I knew that butterfly was going to fly off the shelves. And so that when I used it in January, I was like, you better get it while you can. If not, we have to create this sense of urgency with our customers. And it's not fake. It's real. It's a real urgency. And so we can use this as a benefit. Whenever I do my Facebook Lives, I just did one this morning using the Painted Seasons bundle. And I was like, people, get it while you can. And don't come crying to me when it's not available anymore because you chose to wait to get it. It's not up to me to tell people how to spend their money. So if they want it, then you're going to have to put your money where your mouth is, and you're going to have to buy it right now. So, and that's the mentality. That's the message that I'm passing along to my customers. I'm not passing along like, oh, darn Stampin' Up! They did it again. I can't believe, why aren't they ordering more? I hear all the time, oh, they must be in financial trouble because they're, can't provide. No, they're actually not in financial trouble. They are a really smart, sound financial company that's not in debt, because we don't spend stupidly. And so many other companies that do, that are not around anymore because of that. So I truly believe that this creates and will continue to create a culture within our customers in general of an urgency to buy things. And that's a good thing for your business. So we have to absorb that ourselves and then teach that to our teams so that our teams are positive about it. I hear a lot of times from demonstrators that there's these negative threads on their team. How do you handle your team? And how do you handle, and I will honestly say that in 3 years, there has not been one comment on my team page about Backorders, not one. And it is completely because of the culture we set, that as a leader, that trickles down, that all my leaders, we all share this, that it is just something that we are going to deal with, and in a positive way. And it's not anything that that we can blame Stampin' Up! For. It is a beauty of what our products are doing these days. So next is to go back to the annual catalog. If you're really frustrated, just go back to the annual catalog. My last online class, I was burnt with the one before that, so I wasn't taking any risks. My risky days were done, and moving here forward, my risky days are over. So I will just go back to the annual catalog. So my last class included the chic paper, like the green and pink, the petal pink and the green and the granny apple green, and the cards were adorable. Now I used the new stamp set. So the stamp set was still new and trendy, and but I chose to use paper that was out of the annual catalog. Many of my last classes there are so many ribbons. Can I go through and count the ribbons that are in the annual catalog? I can promise you that you have not used them all. I'm sure you have not included them all, and I'm sure you have not used them all in your classes, or all the embellishments that are in here are unbelievable how many we have. Like, look at all these ribbons. I know you guys have not used all of these in your classes. So we move away from it, but our customers, those all still can be very exciting for our customers. We have to just show them how to use it. So when you're not feeling risky, or if your life and your personality does not allow you to be flexible. Some people will say, like a very good friend of mine, Kim Vogel, she works full-time, is like a den leader to 2 Girl Scout troops, which is nuts. And she runs a huge business and has a family. And again, one of those people that truly is a truly very, very busy human being. We all are, but she kind of takes it to the next level. She has to design her classes a month in advance, otherwise she can't function. So for her, one thing that she tries to do then is to have to pick things that she doesn't have to be flexible with, that are from the annual catalog, so that she doesn't have to worry about things like not picking the things that are actually in the these things that we are risky, that we know very well could go on back order, which now is pretty much everything out of the occasions catalog, except for some of the dumb things that were in there. Those little tiny buttons, I don't know, those are really hard to use. So those things are safe too if you want to try to use those. Or the little wrench and the little, things, maybe those you can try to use. So anyway, go back to the annual catalog. Go back to things that are safe when you're doing product-based classes. Because my next one is to just know your risks and set the proper expectations with yourself, so that when it does not become available, then you are not disappointed and you're not frustrated, and neither are your customers. So the one big thing I put on here is that my next step is that when I am advertising for a product-based class, I do not tell them what's included. I tell them you're going to get a bolt of ribbon, an embellishment, and a pack of paper. So they don't know what it is necessarily. For example, I may even show some samples of something, and I might even still use the ribbon that's in the samples, and I was intending on including it, but I can't include it because it's not available. So instead, I'll give them each a yard of it to complete their samples, and then I'll include some other ribbon that I will use on a different card or something. So we just have to be flexible. And the more you give yourself a little bit of wiggle room when you're advertising for your classes, the more you can make changes as you need to when it comes time for that. The other thing is just to communicate with your customers. So if something does go on back order, it is not something you need to take personally or you need to just be the informant. Unfortunately, what we planned is on back order. So that means that, here's what's going to happen. Either your kits are going to ship out later, or we got to push the class back by a couple weeks, or we can go forward to the class and then we'll just get you your supplies later after they come in. I do 100% agree that a back order situation will cause you more work. It does. And it is more stress for you. It is. But it can be handled and it can be taken care of. So it will require a little bit more work and effort on our end. And that's just the nature of the beast of what we do right now when you pick risky products. If they need it immediately, they can always borrow mine while theirs comes in. I'll let them come into the studio and borrow it. They can't take it home. I make them come and use it here. Obviously, that's only for local people. And yeah, know your risks, know your expectations. Okay, so Wendy said, I know you mentioned doing classes without including product. However, I find that being much less successful. My people seem to like having all the goodies delivered in a box. Yeah, so Wendy, you are in a unique situation because you're an all online demonstrator. So yes, I agree. My people also like to have boxes of their product. So again, you can do it 2 ways. You can be vague on what you're including, so then you can change things as needed, or you can give it to them free with a purchase. So that would be, and you can specify this is what you should order, and you could even order it for them. But they can it's going to require you to have a little bit better communication and a little bit of help with keying in their order. Now, you don't have to go that route. Some demonstrators do that route solely and some don't. I don't do that route. I do the route of including the product. But what I've chosen to do is just to be more vague on what's included in their kit so that I can make changes as necessary as it goes. You always like to display your projects prior to class. Yeah, that is nice that you can do that. Yes. So, moving forward, Laura, I don't show all the the projects beforehand. I would just show snippets of it. And maybe now you just need to put a little caveat that these are subject to change. So you can absolutely do that. That's what a lot of places out there do. Like, here's this, but a little tiny things, and it's subject to change. That is something that I am going to start doing in my product-based classes that I show pictures for, that these are what we're going to make, or something similar, or subject to slight alterations. I think that alone will cover you. I think your customer needs to trust that if you do make changes, there's a reason why, and you'll still make something beautiful. I don't think anybody chose that class that I offered just because of that ribbon. So it is one thing for you to just say, have a caveat that this is, and who knows why it's changing. It could be weather, it could be shipping issues, it could be back orders, it could be that, that you'd end up liking something else better, but you can always leave yourself a little out in your advertising, and you can put it with a little asterisk and a little small print that it's subject to change. So that, and then when it does change, you can say, hey, I told you this might happen, just so there's going to be a little bit of a change. Your ribbon's going to be different. You're going to still get the same number of projects. You're going to get whatever. One thing I have done as well is I always look for the positives to this situation. And one of the number one positives is the sense of urgency for product. The second one is the chance for customer service that shows our customers why they're shopping with us. And when so this kit that will go out, that will have different ribbon in it, I'm going to include a little gift for them as a thank you gift for still ordering with me, and that things were a little different than what I promised to begin with. So it'll give me a chance to step up and let them know that I really take my business seriously. I take them seriously, and I don't make this a practice in my business. So if I do have to make a change, that I'm going to take care of them. And I've done that many times with things. So for instance, the class where I had to completely change from a Memories and More kit, I gave them both classes. I did a PDF tutorial of the first one that I had designed, and then I gave them the second one. So to me, that was a value added benefit for them, that they actually got two classes. All they had to do was just go home, and when the kit came off of back order, they could order that kit. But they still had all the ribbon was the same, all the embellishments were the same, everything was the same. And now all they needed to do was just have that kit, and then they could recreate another entire class. So let's think about ways that we can value add if something does become affected because of a back order. Or if someone orders something and you missed it and you didn't communicate, and you have a customer who's upset because she wanted that butterfly and it wasn't there. Now you can't even order it, but let's say something else they wanted and now they can't get it. So this is a chance for you to maybe follow up with a card in the mail with a little gift inside, a little package of doilies, I've been just collecting on my hostess benefits, little thin things that I can put in cards. And then you can just show them, hey, I'm sorry that this went on back order and it's not there yet. So to tide you over, here's a little present because I appreciate you. And then stick it in the mail. So these are ways for us to step up and really show what kind of demonstrator we are to our customers, that we didn't cause this issue. It wasn't my fault it's on back order. It wasn't their fault. It's no one's fault, but I'm sure going to take care of them and sure make them feel like I appreciate them. So that's one of the biggest things I want you to take away from this. So there's several things. Hopefully you got some golden nuggets you can take away. But number one is it's your attitude. And you need to trickle that attitude down to your team and to your customers. That this is actually, there are some perks and benefits to this back order situation. I believe it's going to, and I believe it's our future. So it's going to cause some urgency for our products and for you to buy our products and for our team, our hobbyists. I'm like, you better not wait. Use that discount right away. And I believe that we just need to be a little bit more flexible and allow ourselves to have outs with our customers when we are doing product-based classes, that we might need to make changes and substitutions, or substitutions may be in there. So Monica says, can you say all 10 things? Okay, let's go through really quick. I think it was 10. Sometimes my numbering gets off because I get onto a tangent. But this is the number 10 things that I say about back orders and how we can handle them. Number one is attitude makes the biggest difference. So we have to understand and check our attitude when it comes to back orders. Number two is flexibility. So if your designing is never wasted. So if you have a class that you designed, the stuff goes on back order, you can just still run that class, but not run it until that time. And so then you had to be flexible to be able to add in another one. Yes, you might have to stay up late that night. Again, I'm not trying to baby this down that it's going to be easy. It's not. I mean, that was stressful when I had to redesign a class in 5 hours, and I didn't have 5 hours to give. I had no time to give, but we had to do it. We made it happen. Number three is to recreate the same projects, but using a different product that's still available. Number four, run classes that are free with a purchase instead of running product-based classes. And these are tips that you can give your team too, guys. So this is one that might be helpful for them. Number five is to stay informed. Make sure you are very well informed so that you can then inform your customers. A customer honestly does not mind back orders as long as we communicate to them as to when they're going to get their product. And number six, it creates a sense of urgency for our products. Truly, if you want it, then they need to get that right away. And we need to be communicating that and believing in that when we're talking to our customers. The next one is I believe this is our future. Do not wait for Stampin' Up! To change. They're not going to change. We need to adapt. They might get a little bit better, and they have gotten better, actually. They've gotten a lot better. I loved the percentages. It's like way down. There's only 6% back orders, and a couple years ago it was like 12 or 20% or something. So they have gotten better. It's just we're still feeling no matter if there's even a few things on back order, we're going to be feeling the pains of it. The next one, see, I've already lost my numbers. The next one was to just go back to the annual catalog. If you are not in a place where you can be flexible and you're in a place where you are frustrated, just go back to the annual catalog. Eventually, that's going to be an issue too. When the last chance list comes in May, nothing is safe except for things that we know are carrying over. And then you go back to those. Last May, every one of my classes had burlap and white ribbon and baker's twine and pearls and rhinestones. That's what was included in all my classes in May because I could not handle a back order. So sometimes you just have to go back to those products. Now remember, you can still focus on stamp sets and focus on things like that. So you can still focus on some new product, but just your little extra embellishments might be things that are not scary. Next is to know your risks. And if you have these risks, then you need to know your expectations that you might have to punt at the last minute because of you chose a risky product. And then you're not so frustrated and disappointed because you knew that there was an option and now I have a plan B if I have to. If they need it immediately, then you can let them borrow yours while those are coming in, while theirs are arriving, whatever it may be, if they needed it right away. And if you do product-based classes, just be vague in what's included. Let them know that it's a ribbon, a paper, and an embellishment, and always have the caveat that things are subject to change. So that if you are showing pictures in advance, or if you are telling what is in there, that it is subject to change. Or subject to availability might be something else that you might put on there. So those are what I had on the list of things that I wanted to make sure that I got through to you guys. So yeah, so last year the Daisy Punch was on back order and then stop sell for a really long time, right? So the class I'm designing now, it's actually the meeting planner, is using the Daisy Punch. It's safe now. I am done picking anything that is risky. I'm choosing the gingham gala paper because it's still new. But I felt pretty safe on that because I saw there was 30,000 that were coming to the warehouse, and they only had like 10,000 on back order. So I know that's probably a safe bet too. So right now, that Daisy Punch was huge last year, and some people probably didn't get it because it was on back order, and then it was on stop sell for a long time. And by the time it came back, it was the fall. And then people were already moving on. So I think that's, again, a safe one. I'm going back to the Daisy Punch right now. I'm going to admit it to all of you. But I am going to also use the Stamping Your Way to the Top stamp set. So this is something that I think our teams and demonstrators need to see as well. So does anybody else have any questions, or is there ones that I missed on here? If you want me to, I can even unmute you, or you can unmute yourself. I wanted to have this one be more interactive in case you had some specific questions. Like, Rhonda, you didn't cover this. This is where I'm really struggling. Then maybe I can help give you some suggestions. Yeah, Dawn says she has her iPad set up with all the back orders going on. I do the same thing, and she's just very transparent to her customers. Yeah, Wendy, go ahead and unmute yourself. Go ahead.
Hey, girl.
Hey.
So I did my retreat to go like you suggested, and I said $50 of product included, but I didn't specify anything.
Good.
So now I've been inundated with emails from people of what stamp sets are you using, because now I don't. So how do you address that? Or in the future, should I try to, but then I feel like that gets me back in the same situation if I design the cards and specify stamp sets and then they can't get them. So what is your advice on that?
Well, two things. I get the same thing because I do, people will ask me, what's my supply list? Like the minute I advertise for it. And I'm like, I don't even know yet. I haven't even designed. Chill out. And that is actually what I say. I tell them this is different. I do not put a supply list out until the box is shipped. You will get a full supply list. This is not designed for them to sit down and, now yours is designed where they're going to craft with you over the weekend, right? So yours is designed a little differently. So yours, I believe, if I saw, we talked about your advertising, that you're planning on having them like craft with you throughout the weekend. So yours, to me, makes me think of my creative convention online, where I do put a supply list out 2 weeks ahead of time. So that way they can order the products to have, because we're crafting together over the weekend. So so they're right. You should probably be having a supply list of things that they should have so that they can work with you over the weekend, because you're doing a live event on Facebook mimicking a retreat.
So I should have just advertised that in the advertisement, like supply list will be provided by March 15th.
Yeah. And that's what I do. So in my confirmation email and my confirmation message and the print, and people still ask, Wendy, even because people don't read. People do not read. So even then, I still will have to answer that question. But at least I have something to refer them to say, in the confirmation email, I'll let you know the supply list will be out by March 15th, so that they will know to look for it March 15th. So I send that out about 10 days ahead of the actual live event. Now even with my retreat in a box, I have a lot of people who ask me, what supply list do I need? And I used to just tell them, you're just gonna have to wait and figure it out when I ship it. That's how this works. It's a surprise. It is a surprise inside that box. Like, you don't know anything that's in there until you get it. So, but I've actually changed my tune a little bit, and then my last 2 or 3 that I've done, now I do give them what stamp set or what bundle that I am using. And if it's on back order, it's on back order. They'll have to order it later, or they might already own it. So I do, when I do my advertising, I will say I'm using this stamp set and this bundle.
Then I'm just brainstorming this idea. What about providing them a host code so that then if they order using that host code, they get an extra free gift?
Absolutely. Sure. That sounds great. Now what I do is I allow them to add on the stamp set and add on the bundle if they want to onto their retreat in a box.
Okay.
So you can do it either way. The 2 times ago, I started saying I've been using a bundle and a stamp set, and I let them add them on if they want to onto their retreat in a box. And I had a good chunk do that. It was a huge boost. Or you could do a host code. I think all retreats, live and online, it's great to do a host code along with it, because people want to order things to bring with them to the retreat. And so if you give them a shopping list of here's the supplies I know that I'm going to use that are not provided in your retreat, then you can use a host code and you can add them on.
Okay.
Yep. So I think in your case, where you're trying to do this as a live retreat on the same weekend, then you should be required to send them a supply list at least 10 days in advance.
Okay.
And I give them a full supply list because some people are buying just the tutorial and the video version. So they're going to get even the paper, the embellishments, and all of that. So, but I always say, but if you bought the kit, everything for you is provided except for the ink and except for the, stamp sets. Yep.
Okay.
All right, Debbie, good luck on your Facebook Live. I think she had to go. Okay. All right, so does anybody else have any questions? All right, well, thank you for tuning in. Good luck. I know this is frustrating. I just think we're going through growing pains. And as your business grows and as you are experiencing things that are tricky, we're going to have to learn to adapt to them. All right, you guys have a great day. I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.